Believe in my belief in you, because I know how this works. And if you do what I tell you to do, and you do it quickly, you will get the results that you want. And you will start believing in you. In this episode of the Unstoppable Woman podcast, I am going to be taking you through Manifestation 101, the very basics of how to create something in this 3D physical world that starts as an idea. You can call this goal achievement, you can call this the creative process, you can call this manifestation, but it is taking something that you have not yet seen in your physical world and bringing it into that, having what you want in this 3D world. So let's get started. First, I want to say that my approach to this is very grounded in results, and it's not so woo. I love the concept of manifestation, the word manifestation. It has such a vibration of almost magical miracles, hope and expectation is all wrapped up in that. And yet there's a way in which there are many people out there that are speaking of manifestation in a very woo-woo kind of way, where it makes it seem like it's magic. And although it feels magical, meaning like spells and, like I just added these magic sprinkles to something and it all worked when it happens, but there is a very practical methodology to it. And I like to say it's not effing magic, because if you work the methodology and you stay with it very consciously and conscientiously, you will get the results that you want. And it's not magic. There's a methodology to it, meaning it's not just this wizard over here that has this special toolkit and the special spells. You can do this too. Now, of course, it's so fabulous when the thing that you think is going to take many years or many months or many weeks happens right now. It feels amazing. And I love closing the gap on time or collapsing time with my clients. It is so much fun. So I don't want to take the fun away from it, but I also want to bring to this that it's very practical and there's a methodology to it. And I want to take you through that in this Manifestation 101 episode. I also encourage you to listen back to the episodes we did on the Manifestation Matrix, which has great information and takes a slightly different angle on this. I would recommend that you integrate both. Those episodes are 5, 6, and 7. Part 1 and Part 2 are me elaborating on what the manifestation matrix is and how to use it. And then the last episode in that series is Sarah on my team interviewing me with questions to unpack those episodes a little bit more. So let me set the frame here by talking about how I come at this. I came to this work because I fundamentally wanted different results. I was a business person. I was in business for myself. I was an entrepreneur. I was getting good results. It wasn't terrible by any means, but I wanted better results and I wanted it to be easier, and I didn't want to be banging my head against the wall and in confusion and in overwhelm and fundamentally struggling with time management and focus, and there was never enough time and all of that. And my way just wasn't working. Fundamentally, it was not working. I couldn't scale my business doing what I just continuing to do what I was doing. But what I notice, and I can see very much with 2020 hindsight at this point, is that I would approach every new thing that I was learning. Say I was learning some new marketing piece or taking a program on this or that or the other in my business. I would approach it with the same belief structure, mental construct, way of being in this world. And ultimately, I kept getting the same results, maybe incrementally better, maybe something moved forward in my my project or my work, but I wasn't what I call quantum leaping my results, which is, going from where I was to a massive leap forward. So the paradigms with which I was approaching my work were, if I just get the good grades, go to the good school, work really hard, continue to work really hard, be a good person, be nice to people, that I would get the results I want. Now, all of those things are part of it, have an aspect to it, but are not the full picture. So I am not diminishing getting good grades, going to a good school, working hard, being a nice person, being respectful. All of those things are part and parcel of my story and what it takes to move forward. Now, there are people who don't work hard like you and have great success. There are people who don't have great grades or go to great schools and have great success. And there are people who aren't nice people who have great success. So those components alone cannot be the key factors in creating massive success for yourself, whether that's in your personal life, your personal goals, or your professional goals. Success is not dependent on these things alone, though they all play some part in it. Okay, so at that point, I started asking myself the question, how do I break free and get the results that I truly want? Because it was really frustrating for me to feel like I had all this potential that was untapped, and to think that I was doing the right things, but I kept hitting the same blocks over and over again. They looked different to me, so I couldn't recognize the pattern when I was in it. But ultimately, from my perspective now, 2020 hindsight, and from my mentor's perspective, who could see the truth of what was happening, I was in the same pattern over and over again. And quite frankly, life was passing me by, and I didn't want that. Yes, I was engaged. Yes, I was going for it. But I wasn't making the progress. I had hit that place in my life where I was like, hey, this isn't working anymore. I want bigger progress. I want more. So, of course, I studied the traditional marketing and business tools. I took the programs. I took the classes. Those are incredibly helpful. I am not dismissing them, but they did not move the needle in my business. They did not flip the switch, okay? And I knew there had to be a better way. And this is when I discovered the laws of the universe. And let me be frank here. It wasn't when I first discovered them. It was when I just decided to go all in on them. Because I had watched The Secret and loved it and was intrigued by it and thought it was amazing and I want that. And I read Louise Hay and I read, and followed Abraham Hicks, and I understood conceptually a lot of this stuff already. But quite frankly, I wasn't holding myself to a standard of applying it when the rubber hit the road. I would go back to my old patterns. And that is the case for 99.9% of the people out there. And I see it all the time. People get these concepts intellectually, but they don't know how they are falling out of truth with them in their day-to-day life and in their attempts to quite frankly manifest what seems impossible to them. So it's hard to explain this to the person who is in it because they think they get what to do and how to apply it. And that was where I was too. And I'm not suggesting to dismiss that learning or to step out of it. You want to stay in it. You want to be filling your mind with it. But there comes a point where the rubber meets the road where you say, I actually have to do something more bigger and work at a higher level. And when you're ready for that, well, you're ready for me. Come find me. Okay. That's a overt pitch to you guys. When you're ready for something more, you step into more. That was the case for me. I knew it in my cells that I needed something more powerful to integrate this material and get to the next level. And when I did that, everything changed. Okay. So now all of this I liken to layers. Okay. So just to go back, all of that was layers of learning that I needed, and I was intrigued by them. And I needed to move through them. But when I signed up for mentorship at the next level, when I heard my mentor say there is a way for you to have what I have, to do what I did, and he said it in such an emphatic way with absolutely zero noise on the line. And I'm saying that for you too, that you can do what I did if you do what I tell you to do. Okay? You can do what I did if you do what I did. Okay? But most people won't do what I did. Most people will come up with an excuse for why they can't do what I did. But you have all the same capacity that I have. It's untapped potential, and it's up to you to tap it. So when I signed up for this next level mentorship, and many of you have heard this story, but it was a huge leap of faith for me. It was a decision. It was a piece of ownership. I am doing this. Yes, it was a huge leap of faith around this concept that it can be easier, that there's a methodology, but it was fundamentally a huge up-leveling in my belief in myself. I was going to do this, come hell or high water. So there's already a clue for you. Now, I want you to dive into the creative process now with me. And that creative process, let's be clear about what we mean by this. The manifestation process is the creative process, okay? It's how we take a goal, which is simply a clarified idea that we own, that we say is ours, that we say we want, and bring it into manifestation. That means going from non-form to form. And to do this, for this to make this happen with massive things, big things, not just parking spaces, guys. Let's move beyond the parlor tricks, if you will, okay? Then you have to understand this methodology, okay? And I encourage you to do three things really, if you're interested in, go through the rest of this episode with me, and then do 3 things afterwards. Actually 4 things, guys. I keep thinking more things. Listen to them again. Repetition is the mother skill, meaning it is foundational to learning all other things. Listen to this again and again and again. Second thing, listen to episodes 5, 6, and 7 again and again and again. That's on the Manifestation Matrix. Then join me at the Unstoppable Woman Summit, which is in November from the 6th to the 8th in San Diego. We are going to be going into this in a lot more detail and workshopping it for you. And if you can't wait that long, and if you know that this is the right thing for you, now is the time to reach out to me. Do not delay, okay? So those are 4 things that you can do right now to massively shorten the time frame on how quickly you achieve what you want to achieve. Okay, let's dive in to the actual methodology and steps here. So first, you have a desire. There has to be something that you want. And there's a lot to picking your goal or your desire. But for this episode, we're just condensing this step. What do you want? You have to have a desire. Now, I go into this a lot more at the summit and in those Manifestation Matrix episodes. So you can find more information out on this there. How do we get into denial around this? And I'm going to be pointing this out at every step because it's so important. I want you guys to see how you stop yourself, okay? So that you stop stopping yourself, if you will, okay? So the manifestation matrix shows you that denial is a phase of manifestation. It's a phase we want to move through quickly. It's a phase we want to bring awareness to. It's a phase where we don't want to hang out. We want to go through that quickly, but it's real. It is there. Okay. So you have this desire, and then the denial phase flashes in, comes in, lickety split. And that looks like where you say to yourself, that's too big. I can't have that. Be reasonable. Go for something smaller. Who am I to think that I can do that? That's not right, good, all of that. Okay, so pay attention to that. Okay, the next step is you must hold your desire in your imagination and use this higher faculty, your imagination, to build it, to keep it alive, to get super, super clear about what it is that you're going for, to keep it present for yourself. And there's so much to imagination. Again, this is just walking you through the top level. Now, what's the denial phase here? Distraction. Okay? You get distracted. You think you don't have time to play with your imagination, to think about your goal, to love it, okay? To call it into form in your mind. You get distracted by all things. So bring yourself back to imagination. Okay. Next, you must reprogram your subconscious mind, which is the fertile garden where all ideas are planted. And when ideas are planted there, whether they're positive or negative, they come into form. They get created. Your subconscious mind drives your behavior. Okay? It drives how you think about every outside circumstance, person, place, or thing. It determines what kinds of decisions you make, how you move forward, how quickly you move forward. And you have a self-image, a belief structure, a paradigm, a group of beliefs, which is called a paradigm. You're programming in your subconscious, and you can reprogram your subconscious with new images and ideas about who you are and what you are worthy of achieving through constant space repetition. Now, what's the denial phase here? Distraction again, okay? Repeating things off and on, but not consistently, dropping the repetition after a few days, feeling foolish about it, feeling like you're lying to yourself, telling yourself it's not necessary, telling yourself you can do it once a month or once a week, but not twice a day. Like all of these things are the denial phase. Constant space repetition, there's no way around it. Okay, step 4. Okay, when you do all 3 of those things that I mentioned, hold your desire, continue to imagine it, continue to repeat it to yourself over and over and over again through constant space repetition, you move to a higher level of vibration and thus awareness. You do this through all 3 of those things: owning the desire, imagination, constant space repetition. And when you are at a higher level of vibration, then Spirit, Source, God, energy, supply matches you here with new ideas that come to you through your intuition. This is how it speaks to you. Okay? And it is telling you exactly in no uncertain terms how to get from where you are now to where you want to be. Okay? My intuitive factor is extraordinarily strong. And I use it to help myself, and I use it to help my clients because I can see so clearly, boom, this is what they need right now to get from where they are to where they need to be. And if they do what I tell them to do, they will actualize, meaning manifest what they want in record time. Now, what's the denial phase here? That's crazy. How many times have you said that to yourself? That's crazy. I can't do that. I'll do it later. People don't trust themselves, okay? They don't know the difference between their intuitive voice and the voice of fear or ego, and they don't know how to get super clear about the difference there, okay? But fundamentally, if you hear yourself saying, that's crazy, I can't do that, there you go. That's you going into denial right there, okay? And then the next step is to take these ideas that you get, these intuitive hits, and organize them into plans. You need to have an organized plan. It doesn't need to be in the weeds, like super, super detailed. You don't need to have the 5-year, 10-year plan. You need to have your next steps for right now well organized. Order is heaven's first law. Troad said that. Order is heaven's first law. Everything wants to be in better order. That's where we're moving towards. That's where we're going. Okay? And if you get in the way of order, you are self-sabotaging yourself. Okay? You must order your ideas and order your plan. Now, denial here looks like the subconscious mind saying it has to be hard, there has to be a struggle, has to take a long time. Confusion is a key sign you're in denial. Overwhelm is a key sign you're in denial here, and you must get help. Okay? Do not stay in that place of confusion and overwhelm about what to do or how to do it. It does not have to be confusing. Okay? Order is heaven's first law. Get into order. Get yourself into order. And then lastly, you need to act quickly. Quickly. Did I say quickly? Did I say immediately? Okay? So we have massive, immediate, continuous action. So you must take massive action, you must take immediate action, and you must take continuous action. But what most people do when they are going through this is that they get a great idea, they get an organized plan, and then they start saying, I'll do that later. They start to procrastinate in very reasonable ways. Not just like, oh, I know I need to do that and I'm putting it off. That too. Okay, that too. But in very insidious ways, which look like, I have to do this first with my business and then I can call that person, or then I can make this move over here. No, do it now, okay? And it's one of the things that I really teach my clients over and over again. Do it quick, do it quick, do it quick. Okay, so those are some key steps. Let's repeat them. Have the desire, imagination, constant space repetition, moving yourself to a higher level of vibration and receiving the intuitive knowledge that you need from that place and acting from that place. So there is a key thing that I didn't mention. You must act from the place you want to be, not from the place you are now. People get so confused by this. You need to make decisions from the place you want to be, not from the place you are now. Huge way to close the gap on time. And then you have to take these ideas and organize them and act quickly. Now we need to add a few things to the mix, okay, that come in throughout the whole process. One is persistence. You know, stuff is going to come up. And people are going to say things that get in your head. The fears come up, the discouragement comes up, the disappointments come up. Think you want it now, but it's not happening fast enough. You're not seeing evidence of it happening. You need to stay in persistence with all of these things that I've mapped out for you. You need to be persistent. You need to make quick decisions. This is akin to acting quickly, but it's a nuanced piece of this. People who are successful are quick deciders. When people say to me, for instance, I want to work with you, but then they have, at the end of our conversation, they come to me, they're excited, they say, wow, that sounds great, everything's great, let me think about it. I know 9 out of 10 of them will not choose to work with me because they're not making a quick decision. When they go back to think about it, their subconscious programming that's going to keep them at the same level kicks into gear and they stay exactly where they are. They won't make that new decision, okay? And it's a way of stopping yourself. You must act, and this is true whether you're talking about working with a mentor or something else, okay? You have the idea to call someone. Do you make a quick decision? I'm picking up the phone, I'm going to do that right now. Or do you say, I'll do that this afternoon, or I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that next week when X, Y, and Z happens? Okay? Spirit is always telling you what to do. You are a vibrational match for that thing that's right in front of you. You either step into that next level of awareness and vibration where your goal is, where your goal exists, because it does not exist where you are now. Otherwise, you would be having the results that you want now. Your goal would have been manifested now. But you must get to a higher level of vibration and a higher level of awareness to call in the results that you want, to achieve the goals that you want, to make manifest what you want. But you must make a decision from that place, not from where you are now. Otherwise, you're going to stay where you are. Doesn't happen any other way. I can't lay that out any differently. It's a law. It's the truth. Okay? Now, you also have to bring faith into the mix. This is the belief in the unseen, the belief in this process, the belief in your capacity. It's 100% absolute faith. Now, you must build that. I did not start off with 100% absolute faith. Absolutely not. Okay? So don't hold that up as a thing that's going to stop you. Oh, I don't have 100% faith now. I can't do this yet. That's a bunch of hooey. Okay? But my mentor said this to me, and his mentor said this to him, and his mentor's mentor said this to him, and I will say this to you. Believe in my belief in you. Because I know how this works, and if you do what I tell you to do, and you do it quickly, you will get the results that you want. And you will start believing in you. And then you will start to have faith in this entire process to the point where you have zero insecurity, zero doubt about making what you want manifest. That's pretty amazing. But it starts with where you are right now. Believe in my belief in you. Okay. The last thing that I want to bring to the table today is this concept of full self-expression. And this is part of the mix. You cannot be afraid to be you as you're doing life. And most people make themselves small in order to please other people, in order not to offend others, in order not to make others feel uncomfortable. You're limited by your fears of rejection, fears of criticism, fears of judgment, the low self-esteem, fears of what would happen if you don't succeed. You have a temporary setback. You have a temporary failure. Okay, this is a lack of personal security. It's not self-ownership. And it's keeping you from your freedom. And you must learn how to be fully self-expressed in order to manifest what you want. Now, why would that be? Well, it's because the creative process requires all of you. It requires all of you to show up. It requires you to understand your divinity, your God self, the way you connect to spirit, source, infinite intelligence at such a higher level, so that you are not denying yourself, but owning and fully expressing yourself. I had no idea about this when I got started, okay? But so much of your creative power comes from your full self-expression. That's a big deal. There's many layers to that. We'll probably have to do several episodes on just that, because all of that was like yearning to come out for me, but suppressed. And it was only when I started this process and started owning myself that I understood where real security came from. And when you understand that you can create whatever you want. And all the insecurities go away. And that is true freedom, true mental freedom, emotional freedom, and yes, it helps with that financial freedom as well. Okay, with that, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Please leave a comment and let me know. I read all the comments, and rock it out. Be unstoppable. Take your life to the next level, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks so much for joining us and being part of the Unstoppable Woman movement. We have got a ton of free resources for scaling your business at theunstoppablewoman.com/free stuff. And you can find that link in the description below. So go ahead and check those out. And we'd also love your help in getting our message out to more and more women. If you'd be willing to share this video with all the unstoppable women in your life, that would be fantastic. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Reviews, likes, and comments are greatly appreciated. We go in and read them all. So thank you for those. And thanks for listening, and be unstoppable.